Aloha and welcome. My name is Taylor Norris, and I'm a certified quantum soul guidance, galactic astrology soul reader, and Reiki master teacher, guiding you home to heaven on earth within yourself through Reiki and astrology. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you a Galactic Astrology Soul mini reading for Gina. Thank you so much for being here today. So, what is Galactic Astrology? It is all about asking the most fundamental questions and maybe receiving some answers that stimulate even further questions as to who are we really? So dialing into one individual soul, asking that question, who is this soul? Who am I? Learning about the soul origin, different connections, the soul history, parallel aspects, really diving into and discerning the nature and the interconnectedness of a given soul's multi-dimensional self. So learning about the gifts, the talents, the blessings, the miracles, and magic that are linked to a particular soul, asking this question, where do I come from? Learning more about galactic lives, earthly lives, from what we may perceive to be past time frames, Atlantis, Lemuria, Hyperborea, very ancient times, ancient civilizations on Earth. The Earth past lives are just as fascinating to me as the galactic past lives, because the galactic past lives are often very much linked to the earthly past lives. It's fascinating to see how it all interconnects. And past from our point of view as human beings coming from a linear time perspective on Earth. But often I receive these super multi-galactic souls with linkages to the galactic center, the super galactic center, Shapley attractor, great attractor, where I'm needing to tell someone, hey, we do our best to put together some kind of linear narrative, but when you really have a lot of links and connections to those galactic points, it's very, very multidimensional. And these readings, galactic astrology, this study, this inquiry, this investigation, this process really expands one's consciousness, expands one's sense of what is possible, what is time, and what is this all about? How does it really work? What is the true nature of reality? What is the sacred geometry, this beautiful divine fabric of synchronistic orchestration and galactic and cosmic harmony that underlines and underpins all aspects of creation, from an individual soul to a group soul consciousness to something as exquisite and profound and collective and shared as the earth herself, supporting such a multitude and diversity of life forms. So often in galactic astrology, we get hints and clues as to spirit guides, supports, soul consciousness, like group consciousness that are very linked to an individual soul. A soul might be a part of a much larger soul group, might be an angelic collective, archangelic collective, a galactic federation type of soul, a soul that's linked to a certain type of magical creatures or collectives of magical creatures. I mean, it gets so interesting. We also really specifically dial into this question, why am I here? Why did I bother coming in this earthly life as this human being with this name, with this birth time, with this birthplace? What is the soul purpose? What is the life purpose? What are those intentions that really drove a soul to incarnate at this time on Earth? What is the soul looking for in terms of evolutionary growth? What are the archetypal energies that the soul is really wishing to experience in terms of new territory for growth? And what qualities and archetypal energies is the soul looking to upgrade and up level, that maybe there was some mastery in the past, but they're ready to not so much express the shadow aspects, but to express the most enlightened aspects of those soul qualities. So what are the challenges? What are the opportunities? What is the guidance available at this time? What can the planets and the stars tell us in terms of what is the best course of action to navigate? What are the shifts in consciousness that are being asked for at this time? And we also ask this question of where to next. So very often in Galactic Astrology, we're receiving information, insights, and downloads, clarifications about future lives, future selves that are really wanting to connect, to come in. And these are future in the sense that they are more highly evolved, more mature, more enlightened expressions, more fully soul and spirit conscious, closer to source awareness, closer in their expanded consciousness to the awareness of the true nature of reality and what is really that truth, that a underlying fabric of reality. So we also receive information about parallel possibilities. You can look at all of this as all happening simultaneously. That would be a very multidimensional perspective. We're also receiving divine galactic guidance, divine earthly guidance, higher self guidance, guidance from these most evolved soul aspects. And really, it's such a profound study of what is source, what is God, what is the divine. And we learn more about that big divinity as we actually learn more about ourselves as individual souls. So it's very, very profound study of knowing thyself as a means to understand and be in more conscious contact with that large, infinite, omnipresent, omnipotent, all-encompassing divinity, source, God, all that is, however you call that force, that origin, pure consciousness. So the Quantum Soul Guidance Galactic Astrology Soul readings, in particular in my style, this is how I do these readings. So I start in with a Reiki journey, which is so fun. I channeled one before I even became a certified practitioner that I now use in all of these readings. And so in this journey, there is healing that happens across the entire soul history, past, present, future, parallel. And because it's Reiki energy, it's coming from an enlightened source of pure consciousness, an infinite energy source that is intelligent, divine intelligent energy source. So it goes wherever the person needs for the individual that is having the reading, any place, any time, any space, any aspect of that person connected to that person. So it's really, really nice, the healing that happens, because I don't even need to know, what the person's problems are other than what they feel called to share. Even things that they may not share with me, Reiki is going in and healing those parts that are divinely aligned for the person to receive that healing at this time. It's healing that's always obeying cosmic, universal, multiversal, natural, higher laws, karmic laws. any of the true laws of reality and of consciousness. Reiki is always obeying those and making sure the healing is for the highest good of the person receiving the reading, as well as the highest good of all. So in that journey, the healing is taking place, but there's also intuitive information that I'm receiving and writing all of that down. I'm typing all of it because I can't write as fast as I can type. I learned to type really fast as a kid in computer class. I was a good typer. We did all those typing games, and I really excelled in that. Gemini moon is all the Gemini energy. I can type fast. So I type out all the intuitive information that comes through. And I like to do this journey and receive that information before I even look at a person's astrology chart. So it's completely unbiased, unfiltered, and not coming through any kind of limitations or constrictions of just what the astrology tells me. So I do all that first, and then I look at the natal chart, the basic astrology, and I look at then the galactic charts. And this really provides a very rich, comprehensive, thorough, multidimensional, holographic source and repertoire of information. Usually it's far too much information, and then I'm asking the question, okay, what do I really need to focus on for this reading? What is the highest good? What's the information that needs to come through? And then craft my reading based on that. Okay, so come with me through the Helix Nebula, through the God's Eye Nebula, through the one consciousness. We connect to the one consciousness now as we enter this Galactic Astrology Soul mini reading for Gina, focusing predominantly on the astrology. I did not do any kind of Reiki journey for Gina. We're just looking at the astrology now. All right, so this is Gina's natal chart here. We can see that she is Virgo rising, 3 degrees and 55 minutes, and she has her moon at the anaretic, the very final degree of Pisces, which is also the anaretic in the final degree of the zodiac. So very profound soul choice of moon, Gina. Her beautiful, bright sun is in Aries, and the sun does very, very well in the sign of Aries. It's in rulership in the sign of Leo, but in Aries, it is said to be exalted because Aries archetype naturally has this energy and this presence of I am. It's very clear. It's very direct. It's not having any kind of hesitations or fogginess about what it is exactly. It is I am solar, I am me. This is how I express. And you also have Mars. Wow, this is very, very powerful. You have Venus and Mars also conjunct your sun in Aries. So this is extremely strong Aries energy. You are a force, Gina, and you have the force with you. Wow, this really explains a lot. I have the pleasure of knowing Gina personally, and so that Mars in Aries is also in its rulership, so this is very strong. Venus in Aries is said to be in her fall or in her detriment. She's in rulership in the sign of Libra. That would be the opposite sign down here. So those kinds of classifications date back to a more classical astrology that was very patriarchal and made by men for men. So really a Venus in Aries, this is like the warrior goddess. This is like Joan of Arc. This is just a very fiery, more masculine expression of that divine feminine archetype. Very, very powerful and clear and direct and independent. Like, I can do it myself, especially conjunct Mars. So in a reading, I would talk way more about this because it's really profound how it's interacting too with the moon. This stellium, I mean, this is profound here. This is a whole stellium because it's really starting with this Mercury and Pisces, and it's ending with this sun in Aries. And so I'll also say this is not a typical sun in Aries because it's in the 8th house. So this is 8th house is the house of mysteries, life, death, rebirth, resurrection, big business. This is a house related to business, shared resources, other people's money, other people's energy. It's a very intimate house. It contains sex and taxes and inheritance and all kinds of things you might not lump together. And, I have a stellium in the 8th house too. And sun in the 8th house. So this is someone who's, shining their light in dark spaces and places. You can shine your light anywhere, anywhere. And it's always there and it's always strong. And so, this is not a typical sun in Aries. And also seeing the moon at that last degree of the zodiac, you're really wanting to come in and clear and let go of a lot. This is very powerful, intuitive moon at this final degree in the zodiac. This is like, yeah, you're connected to all kinds of information, insights, downloads. This is very sensitive too. Okay, so the moon in Pisces by itself would be very sensitive. In the 8th house, this is extra sensitive. So this is like energy clearing and cleansing needed daily, multiple times a day, working with water, being quiet, being alone, spending time in nature, spending time in a Reiki journey and self-Reiki, using these kinds of healing tools and skills for yourself as you are so involved with other people's energy and being a guiding light in these places of darkness. So that would be my advice there, to really take care of your energy, which I know you know, but this is, again, your chart is saying that too. Another thing about this moon, you were born in this like a balsamic phase of the moon. So this would have been like the dark before the new moon, the dark moon. This would be another indicator of you're really closing out a lot of old cycles in this lifetime. So knowing that, I know intuitively you probably already know that, and the astrology chart is definitely confirming that there's a lot of letting go that's happening. And that's not a reflection that you're doing something wrong in this life. That's actually very much a part of your soul intentions. So no judgment at all that is the case. And I would say look at the letting go and the releasing and the forgiving and the big heart of compassion, all is very positive signs. If you're experiencing different losses over the course of your life, that would be something that, your soul was actually interested in learning and growing through. So I will say with this Virgo rising, this makes you very practical. This makes you great at health and nutrition. And, I know Gina is very much linked to holistic health, holistic nutrition, detoxification, cleansing. I mean, that would also be this anoretic Pisces moon, cleansing, detoxification, regeneration, resurrection in this 8th house. So very, very perfect how you are working with this energy in your life, in your business, in your profession too. So very, very wonderful. This is someone who's definitely dedicated service to others. Watch any kind of martyrdom or victim energies, especially with the strong Pisces energy and the Virgo rising. Be sure you are filling your own cup very regularly, and this will actually help you serve others better to just keep on with that self-care as you are shining so much light in the world and in dark spaces and places too. So we see a strength here in the fire signs. This makes Gina very passionate, very creative, and also very intuitive, and just like an instantaneous intuitive kind of way. And she also has a strength in the fixed energy. So Gina is not just initiating and starting new projects and being a leader and being a change maker. She's actually someone who's going to follow through and stick with things and create a sense of stability. The shadow side of, well, the fire, so much fire energy is a tendency to inflammation or, anger, frustration, being infuriated, impatient, that kind of thing. And the shadow side of the fixed energy would be that you can feel stuck sometimes and heavy and weighed down and a bit stubborn and dense and things. So, that's where really working with being grounded, being willing to let go, being willing to cool everything down and take some breaths, really, really important here. So that's just a bit about this natal chart. We also see some quintiles here. You have Sun and Venus and Mars all in a quintile to vertex. So that's telling me that you are having some very powerful, destined, karmic, fated relationships. This is the vertex point right here, and it's with your South Node, and it's in the 5th house. So this would be romantic relationships, and it would also mean that a lot of these fated karmic relationships already with the vertex point, they're going to be karmic. But since it's with your South Node, it's also saying that they are coming in from past lives as well, other lives, parallel soul aspects. You could look at it that way, that there's a real magical, creative potential, evolutionary flow of energy. If you are consciously working with those relationships, you understand to be very karmic and fated with other people. Okay. So looking here now at Gina's galactic charts. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you see a chart that has sun, moon, ascendant, all the other important points and planets in Gina's chart, as well as what sign they're in. And then in this right-hand column here, you see which constellations are either conjunct or opposite that particular planet. So like the sun or a particular point, like the ascendant. So conjunct aspect would be a 0-degree aspect, meaning that the sun is right together with, in a direct alignment to this particular constellation, Andromeda Corvus. For example, an opposite alignment is also very powerful, like the conjunct alignment. It's a 180-degree alignment, so it means it's exactly opposite, but also very perfectly connected to a particular constellation. So Gina has a lot of constellation connections in the conjunct and opposite aspects. This is what I would consider many. This is numerous. This is very abundant here in the constellation connections. So she has either conjunct or opposite alignments. These are very strong alignments that often indicate past lives, parallel lives, future lives lived in these other constellations and linked to earthly past, parallel, future lives that are somehow connected to the symbolism and the archetypal meanings of these particular constellations. So what are the constellations? Andromeda, Corvus, the Galactic, Pegasus, Piscis Austrinus, Cygnus, Pleiades, Centaurus. We see Pegasus again, Andromeda and Corvus are repeating, the Galactic is repeating, Pleiades, Centaurus is repeating, Orion, the Galactic once again, Virgo and Boots, Crux, Andromeda once again, and Aquila. Now, this chart on the right-hand side shows not only the constellation connection, but what particular star is involved. So we see that Sun in Aries in the 8th house is conjunct Andromeda constellation, the star that is called Alpha-Rots. And then we see like the galactic, it's not talking about the stars, it is this Jupiter and Libra in the 2nd house is conjunct one of the galactic points. In particular, it's conjunct the super galactic center. Saturn is also conjunct the super galactic center, for example. So you see all the specific stars that are involved, and anybody can make a chart like this at galacticastrochart.com for free. You will not see this many stars and constellations in the public, that public calculator, because I'm a certified practitioner. I see even more stars, but for anybody, you can pull up a free chart and you can see a lot of different stars and constellations. So it's definitely worth checking out if you're interested. And you might not know what it means. And that's why getting a reading is really helpful, or doing your own research and investigation is definitely recommended to learn more about what does this all mean. So very, very rich in terms of different alignments here. These are close alignments. You can make a chart that shows even more alignments than this with the sextiles, trines, and squares for an even fuller picture. But I always like to look at the conjunct and opposites, because those tell us about actual incarnations, actual lives. What are the most important energies? All right, so in terms of soul origin, this is very, very cool. We look at the planet Pluto. This is the outermost dwarf planet that is considered to be an indicator of an original soul consciousness. So where was the earliest incarnation in the Milky Way galaxy? Pluto alignments speak to often a more individualized soul consciousness, but in Gina's case, I'm seeing this as a group consciousness energy and also as a parallel energy. Her Pluto at 23 degrees 13 minutes of the sign of Libra in the 2nd house is conjunct Spica star in Virgo constellation. And you see this star here in the shaft of wheat that the goddess, the maiden Virgo, is carrying here in her hand. It also kind of looks like a witch's broom to me. That's just me. Okay, so this would be a parallel soul origin for Gina, because her Pluto is also conjunct Arcturus star in Boots constellation. That constellation is the Hunter here, with the 2 dogs. The star Arcturus found in the Hunter's knee right here. And so seeing these 2 alignments together, you could ask, well, is it one or the other for Gina? Which one's more important? But usually what I see with this type of alignment is they're both important, especially because you see how close they both are. This is 0.21. This is less than 1 degree orb. This is also less than 1 degree orb. 0.45. These are very close, very tight alignments. So for me, this is saying she has 2 different, very ancient soul origins that are coming through and expressing in her astrology chart. One connected to this beautiful Spica star, this very divine feminine expression, very, very much connected to the goddess and the sacred feminine expression. And she's also having this soul origin connected to Arcturian energy. And just in terms of the constellation, you would think this is a more masculine energy. This is a more feminine energy. So you're going to see that symbolism play out a lot in Gina's life here. And you see it even with the Venus and the Mars conjunct in the sign of Aries in the 8th house. She's playing a lot with sacred feminine, sacred masculine, divine feminine, divine masculine, internalizing, integrating those aspects, and also how to balance those energies in different interpersonal relationships, how to stay centered in herself, even when she is dealing with other people's energy and coming into intimate relationships. This Arcturian soul aspect is a group consciousness. So Arcturians are very highly evolved beings of light. Their energy, they've actually evolved beyond the Milky Way galaxy. They've ascended, they've transcended, but their energy is so healing and balanced and perfect, and really resonating in the frequency of unconditional love. It is very linked to Reiki energy. So this would be a natural fit for why you were drawn to become a channel of Reiki energy. It's literally, going back to this soul origin in Arcturus. So this is a group consciousness of very highly evolved light beings, and Arcturus is also a kind of stargate, interdimensional stargate, especially having this Jupiter-Saturn conjunct here with the supergalactic center. This would be a chart where I would say this is a very multi-galactic soul. It's somebody who making a linear story for Gina be very, very challenging, and to hold any kind of idea of linearity with a grain of salt, because this Arcturus alignment too is indicating that she's having parallel multiple galactic soul aspects that she can call upon, especially this is in her 2nd house. She can tune into this in the wisdom of her body. This is probably why a lot of what makes you such a good healer and so tuned into how the body works and how health works and how to really cultivate peace and harmony within the body, and wanting to share that with others to improve their quality of life. So there's a very much a natural healing energy that's just emanating from you. These are very magical stars to be connected to, and there is much more to be said about what they mean, but I'll leave it there for now. So we have another very magical alignment here. Gina, honestly, it was hard to choose which alignments to talk about because you have so many, and I didn't want to talk about too many in this video. But I know you like unicorns, and well, it is literally written in the stars that you are connected to the unicorns. Like, you really are. You really, really 100% are. This is confirmation of that. So both your Mercury and your moon are conjunct stars in the Pegasus constellation. So I definitely recommend you get a star app on your phone and you try to find Pegasus stars, try to find Arcturus as well as Spica. You can see Arcturus and Spica now really clearly. And I think I found some of these Pegasus stars the other night. So definitely have a look, and you can connect in that way, especially because it's your moon and it's your Mercury. So you can be receiving a lot of downloads from the unicorns and just actually looking and tuning into these stars in the night sky. So seeing the moon and Mercury aligned here, this could indicate very recent past lives that you are experiencing with the unicorns in this particular constellation. Even as a spirit guide, unicorns are very interdimensional, multi-galactic beings. They're traveler beings. They're going all over. This is also, I'm just getting this intuitive hit too, suggesting past lives in Celtic civilizations, Celtic energies, very much in tune with those mysteries, and the goddess very much being associated with the horse and the goddess and the earth. And yeah, so definitely Celtic past lives where you were working with this mother energy, you were working with this sibling energy, communication, intuition, channeling. And in those past lives, you could have been directly involved working with the horses, the physical horses on Earth, and working with the unicorns as well. So that's how that would manifest as in terms of earthly lives. And then also being really enjoying lives, parallel lives, past lives, future lives as a interdimensional unicorn. So I would definitely suggest that the unicorns are powerful guides for you, and they can really help you with a lot of this healing and forgiving and letting go work that is a part of your soul journey. They can help connect your lower mind to a lot of higher insights and downloads. This really brings Pegasus alignments like this, especially because it's your Mercury. This brings a lot of mental gifts with it, a lot of mental creativity. So you're really able to bring through a unique perspective and share it with others, especially in your relationships and your coaching one-on-one relationships would be in the 7th house here. So definitely I'm understanding that your intuition is informing a lot of those communications. And yeah, this is what makes you this is part of what makes you such a good coach in the work that I know you're doing with all this Virgo, being of service and helping people really get back on track with their health. All right, so that's what I've prepared for today. Like I said, she has many different alignments, and in a full reading, I would go into many more of those. It's very, very rich chart, but this is just a sample for what these readings are. Let me know in the comments, Gina, does it resonate? And I want to thank everybody who is watching. Thank you, Soul Family, for being here, your presence, your likes, your shares, your subscribes, your comments, your interactions, your support. If you are here, I consider you Soul Family, so I am very, very grateful. And for anyone who's watching and would like a Galactic Astrology soul reading and is ready to dive more deeply into the true nature of your soul and also receive the healing and the information that you're looking to connect with at this time for your highest good, please reach out, TaylorNorrisReiki.com. I would love to do a reading for you, do a session with you, and connect with you soul to soul, guiding you home to heaven on earth within yourself. Thank you again so much for being here. It's been a pleasure spending time together. Aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo.